When we explained yesterday, we discussed yesterday when, yes. Okay, now why. So why is the reason, shows the reason, okay? This one I've heard there is some people who don't like this why, because it always goes after the reason. And it means the reason. So it's like saying the reason. Something like that. So some people don't like it, but it's very often used, so it's part of the grammar, okay? So it cannot be subject, only complement. This is the reason why I left. For example, Subhuti Bante's video. He made a video, no? Why I left IIT, something like that. Exam, yeah. Okay? So this is the reason why I left. You see, the same, we have the same setup. This is the reason is the main clause. And the relative clause is here, why I left. You see, why is the relative adverb, right? And then you have, it cannot be the subject. The subject is here, you see, I, subject verb, okay? So it cannot be the subject. This is the reason why I left. And we'll discuss now that you can remove this why. This is the reason I left. Okay? So, now let's see it as defining or non-defining. Look, this is, I think, if we look back, all of them can be either defining or non-defining, you see? All of them. Right? Here you cannot use that actually. You cannot use that in non-defining. Okay, that cannot be used, okay? And this will be the second one that we cannot use in a non-defining relative clause. Only defining relative clauses, okay? The reason why she called is obvious. For example, the reason why she called, so what is the relative clause here? Can you identify? Yes. Why she called is the relative clause. Okay? Here is the main clause. The reason is obvious. Okay? This is a defining relative clause. So in this case, this type of why will always be a defining relative clause. Cannot be a non-defining. You cannot put why after the comma, like a comma. In the non-defining one, we have commas, right? So you cannot have a why after the comma in a relative clause. Okay?
Why is always without comma?
Yes. As a relative adverb. As a relative adverb, yes. Okay? Then, or, we do have another option. Yeah. Preposition plus which. The previous one, preposition plus which as well, you see? And the other one, preposition plus which. See? You can put preposition plus which instead of all the relative adverbs so far. Where, when, and why. Okay? So in this case, let's see. That is the reason for which I like you. You see? Some grammarians consider it wrong, what I just said, no? But it's commonly used, okay? It always comes after the reason. You have to say the reason, okay? The reason why. That's the reason why. You're going to hear this very often in English. That's the reason why I did it. That's the reason why you should do it. But very often we remove the why and we say, that's the reason you should do it. That's the reason I left. Okay, that's the relative clause there. Okay, the why is elided. Lopa. Okay? But it always goes after the reason, okay? In this case. So look at this example. That is the reason for which I like you. You see, you have a preposition and which. Because I like you, How do you decide this preposition? Look at this. I like you because of something, right? So you say for. Yeah. I like you for that reason. Do you understand? So you can say for which. Like reading Bali, no? A little bit, yes, a little bit like that, no? Okay? For which? No, you cannot put for what. This is the reason why. You can say why, or you can say like for which, or you can just say the reason I like you without anything. So this why over here, you see, it's a defining relative clause, and the relative pronoun / adverb is not the subject, so you can elide it. Remember? These are the two conditions. 3 conditions for tadaramana, 2 conditions to elide the relative pronoun. Right? Okay. Now, this is why. So, before we move on, it's always good, I think, for you to make a sentence.